Okay, this is a shootout between the J. Edwards StewMac Fractal fret press. The one I found on Amazon for $45, it's remarkably similar, and then the $20 AliExpress version. You already know the end of this story. You know exactly which one is going to win this shootout. So you can go ahead and forget about watching the rest of the video. Just go ahead and buy the J. Edwards. That being said, I have lots of macro shots of each one of these devices, as well as footage of pressing frets in with each one of these. So I think you get some value and benefit out of this video. Let's get to it. Very pretty. So I have them all laid out here just so we can see them side by side briefly from this top view. This is obviously just the standard piece you'd get on a StewMac fret press. This is the $20 AliExpress version. This is the $45 Amazon version. And then this is the J. Edwards version that is sold on StewMac. Now, already you can see pretty clear differences, but what I want to do is get really close on these and see them side by side. So just real quick, something that we discovered in my earlier video on the $20 AliExpress version. So the post here is made from brass, and the center sections here that actually don't touch the fret are also brass. Now the J. Edwards has this steel post and these steel interlocking sections. Clearly we're using steel here for the strength, and because it's not actually touching your frets, the brass portion is. Now the $45 Amazon one is, again, remarkably similar to the J. Edwards in almost every fashion. So again, steel post, it has the indentation that the J. Edwards has that is lacking here. It is also hollow, just like the J. Edwards. So the J. Edwards does have a grub screw, and the $45 Amazon one does not. So it is threaded for a grub screw, but it did not come with one. This is the packaging, simple packaging from Amazon, and there was nothing in there. It's just, again, quality control on this part. There's no grub screw. I have a whole box of them, so I'll just set one in, but you never know what's going to happen with these Chinese overseas things like no grub screw. And if we look at them side by side, they're pretty much, again, very similar. So one tiny difference is on the travel of motion of the post for this first section. So there is a sort of design difference in this arc here. The edge of this first piece is hitting the curvature of that inner arc. So it stops. And in the $20 Chinese one, it's much taller or higher so that you get more range of motion before it hits that arc on the sides. J. Edwards here in front, $45 Amazon one, and the $20 AliExpress. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. That's for you to decide. All I'm doing is showing you what these items are doing. One of the things I had pointed out in my earlier video of this $20 AliExpress version is the amount of slop left and right. So there's a considerable amount of space on all these links. The top link and the bottom link, it just kind of squiggles around there left to right. $20 AliExpress, $45 one, J. Edwards. The width of the brass feet that touch the fret on the $20 AliExpress version are 7 mil. The feet on the $45 Amazon version width are at 9.57, so we can just say that's 9.5 if we want to. And the feet on the J. Edwards width are 9.5 as well. So I want to show the surface finish on the bottom of the brass feet, the actual portion that's touching the fret. So this is the $20 AliExpress version. This has actually narrower feet than the other two. This is the surface finish on the $45 Amazon version. This is the bottom of the feet. I have not pressed frets with these yet, but I will. And then once I do, we can see if there's any indentations or marring on these feet. All right, J. Edwards, bottom feet. But that's the surface finish, which is quite lovely. And again, we'll press frets with this and then see if there's any marring on the bottom. Here are all three. So we have the $20 AliExpress, $45 Amazon, and the J. Edwards here on the right-hand side. So I mentioned how eerily similar the $45 Amazon was to the J. Edwards. They're nearly identical when you look at them. I did press about 8 frets with this, as you can see some marring already on the actual feet, where there's an indentation from actually pressing those 8 frets. All right, so we're going to test out pressing some frets with the $45 Amazon version here. And so what I'm going to do is I have these pre-cut frets that are just standard pre-cut frets that are Fender branded. I got them on Amazon. They already have a radius put into it. And the whole point of this is I want to demonstrate sort of a baseline. Right, to keep the fret from wiggling around, all I do is I tap the corner in, just like that. Okay, here we go. One press. So what I want to demonstrate is a baseline. I'm not going to do pressing like this. I wanted to do a single press as a baseline so you can get an idea of what it looks like with one press. This is what I demonstrated in my last video. So obviously we could go in here and we can kind of do what the fret press is good at, which is kind of like, you know, get the edges and the corners. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to press that. This gives you an idea of what it looks like with one press under macro. This is the $45 version. I'm going to do one more fret with the $45 version because I want to see if we get any marring under the feet. So let's do the next one. Just like last time, I tapped in the corner. All right, here we go. One press and then lift. And that's what it looks like under macro with a single press. The $45 version. So this is the last fret that we did. See, there's the empty slot, last fret, and this is what it looks like. And if I kind of cover the light so you see some shadows, see a better idea of what it's doing on the top of the fret. And there's no scratches. There's no marring. This is just the way they come from the factory. So obviously they don't look good out of the factory, but there you go. This is a shot after pressing 2 frets in with the $45 Amazon fret press. And I do see some interesting artifacts that were not there when we first took our close-up shots of these bottom feet. So all across these feet, there are some interesting marks. Weird. Maybe it's just scratching the brass. That's just pressing 2 frets, and I got all this marking on the $45 Amazon one. Is that normal for brass? I mean, well, I don't know. Like, I have no clue. I'm just showing you what the macro lens sees. There you go. After 2 presses. All right, let's check out the J. Edwards. All right, so this is the J. Edwards Fractal fret press. All right, I'm going to go ahead and press this down. I'm just going to put my fingers here on the fretboard to balance myself. And here we go. Single press. Look at that. And again, just to show a baseline, I'm not doing multiple presses, just a single. And let's do another one. Let's do 2 frets. All right, fret number 2. A single press right in the center. A little bit of side-to-side motion, just slipping, but came out perfect. Right on. All right, let's take a look at the tops of the fret, and then we'll take a look at the feet of the J. Edwards. This is the last fret we just did on the J. Edwards. I'm going to block some of the light so you can see some shadows. Okay, do the second to the last one. This is the first one we did. Fingerprints on there, but yeah, that looks okay. And straight out of the factory, this is what the fret looked like. Very nice. All right, this is the J. Edwards, bottom of the feet after pressing 2 frets. Very similar marks to the $45 Amazon one. So the nickel frets definitely make some kind of mark. So the nickel is definitely doing something to the brass, and that's to be expected, I assume. But really cool to actually capture this on a macro lens to see really what's going on there after you press 2 frets. I just rubbed it with some alcohol. Well, that's definitely some kind of indentation. Now that I use the alcohol, you can actually see a little bit of indentation there, which is a weird mark. That it matters, right? This tool will last you your whole life. Very interesting, though. I'm kind of curious. I mean, these are just simple, nickel frets. I wonder what stainless steel frets would do. Might have to experiment with that too. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. This video wasn't so much about conclusions, it was more about observations. And the observations are pretty clear. We've known these our entire life. Brass is a soft metal. We want a soft metal to be able to push down these frets and not harm them in any way. These devices all work in a very similar fashion. It's really up to you and your tastes and your budget. You make your own decisions. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.